Who is John Galt? That's a question that, a lot of people have been asking for decades now, as Atlas Shrugged, of course, a perennial bestseller, one of the best-selling American books ever. And now part 3 of the trilogy, Atlas Shrugged 3, is hitting the theaters today. The producer of this entire epic saga, Harmon Kaslow, joins us now. Good morning, Harmon.
Hey, good morning. It's great to be talking with you guys.
Well, you made it. My God, I remember I talked to you when you had the first one coming out, and you seemed like you had already been through the wars. What's it been like to make this entire epic saga?
Well, Atlas Shrugged is an epic novel, based on Ayn Rand's book written more than 50 years ago, 1,200 pages, a phenomenal story about individualism, the rights of the individual, about a government that overreaches, makes capitalism a dirty word. Does any of this ring a bell as to what we're experiencing today?
Well, and if I remember right, the government and economy seems to just be crumbling around the people in this book. It's like everything that they knew America was supposed to be and stood for wasn't there anymore.
Exactly.
Again, sounding familiar.
Yeah, so now we've reached the last portion of the book, and we've asked the question, who is John Galt? And we got some great cameos from some characters well back east. Grover Norquist makes an appearance in the film, along with Glenn Beck and Sean Hannity, and of course, the libertarian of them all, Ron Paul, has a nice little role in the movie, too.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I remember our friend Andrew Breitbart had a cameo in the first one, and that meant the world to him. So I love that you're continuing this sort of celebrity cameo thing going here.
Exactly. The movies really, are meant to be a celebration of Ayn Rand's ideas in Atlas Shrugged, and people who have read the book will enjoy especially part 3, because we get to confront the challenge of how do we do John Galt's speech.
Yeah.
And for people who haven't read the book, John Galt's speech is really 60 pages in the book, a nice summation of the philosophy that's underlying what she wrote about in the preceding 1,000 pages.
And actually, I was going to ask you that, because the John Galt speech could be a short film in and of itself. How did you address that, and how did you approach it without giving too much away?
Well, it's a great question. When I was back in D.C., Congressman Schweikert heard that I was there, and he pulled me into his office. He's a big fan of the book Atlas Shrugged. He asked exactly the same thing. I told him our idea, and he said, no, you should do it this way. So I think everyone has an idea about how it should be done.
I know I do.
It was really kind of very cool. And then he got on his, went to the airport and flew home. But it was important for him to at least put in his 2 cents worth. The speech is instrumental, obviously, in the book. The problem that we really had is the speech isn't really set up in the book, and to be in the movie, we had to, set up the foundation for why this speech would occur. So we've integrated it in. I can tell you that we screened the movie last Friday, and the people there, very critical, know Ayn Rand very well, loved how we depicted the speech.
Harmon Kaslow is our guest. He's the producer of the entire 3-part series, Atlas Shrugged, and tonight, the 3rd part, the final part, Who is John Galt, opens. And, you touched on something here that I think I really wonder how you approached doing this book, because in a similar vein, when Lord of the Rings was done, I mean, I shouldn't say everyone, but so many people had read it, so many people knew it so well, and so many people had sort of created their own version of the movie in their heads over the years. Was that kind of a daunting handicap for you, or was it a bit of an advantage when you took on this project?
Well, Lord of the Rings, they spent well in excess of $100 million, and they did make the movie that was in your head.
Oh wait, Harmon, you didn't have $100 million for each part?
Not. Hollywood wasn't ready to make that sort of investment in the message of Atlas Shrugged. So what we set out to do is really make these movies a celebration of Ayn Rand's ideas, really to acquaint people who hadn't read the book. What's all the fuss about? Why is everyone telling me to go read this book? And for those who've read the book, inspired, influenced by its message, really a chance to sort of celebrate, see the characters come to life, hear some of the great lines out of the book. And so it's just a completely different approach to a message film than what you would normally see from Hollywood.
Well, I want to make a point here, and I'm clearly a fan of the book, and I knew it going in, but I have introduced the movies, the first two parts of the movies, to many people who have never read the books, only heard about it. Even my children, by the way. It's PG-13, I believe. I introduced it to my older children as well, and you don't have to know the books to really get Ayn Rand's message in these movies. You've done a good job, Harmon.
Thank you very much. People can find theaters in your area. Go to our website, atlasshruggedmovie.com. They'll find it there. I think they'll enjoy how we depicted this final part. It's an incredible love story as our two heroes. Dagny Taggart finally meets the man, John Galt, and we'll see what happens as she finds the guy who is literally destroying everything that she was trying to do.
Yeah, but was he really the bad guy? That's sort of what's revealed here.
That's the contradiction, right?
Yeah.
And if you play on that thought a little bit, we answer it in a very creative way in the movie, and it'd be interesting to see how your listeners feel we tackled that issue.
Well, one other question that's answered in this movie, I'm thinking, other than who is John Galt, you also figure out why Ron Paul named his son Rand, I think. When you...
Of course, yeah. There is a baby naming scene in the... No, of course there isn't. No, it's one of the things that we try to do, and I think that this is important, is because we do have these familiar faces sprinkled throughout the movie, is to make certain that their appearances are organic to the story. They don't take you out.
Sure.
But it is very powerful to hear them respond to the message of Atlas Shrugged. And generally we get applause when these important patriots.
Including Grover Norquist, by the way, a friend of our show, Grover Norquist, who we have on quite a bit. Let me one quick question here.
Sure.
In terms of the impact of the film, we joke and hear a lot about people going Galt and getting just fed up with how things are right now in our economy and the overreaching government. Do you feel like your movie is making a difference in terms of really educating people here? And we're only a couple of months away from an election, a very important election.
Yeah, no, of course. The book hasn't had any advertising. It still sells hundreds of thousands of copies. The movies just provide another way for people like yourself who are out there promoting liberty, fighting to preserve our freedoms, sending the message that Hollywood shouldn't be controlling every aspect of our life. Atlas Shrugged is just another way for them to convince themselves that they need to come out and vote and right America's ship and go back to the principles upon which we were founded.
Harmon Kaslow, producer of Atlas Shrugged, who is John Galt, the third part of the series. I know it's been a labor of love. Congratulations. You made it. Good job.
We did make it. Go to atlasshruggedmovie.com and go to your nearest